Hi guys! In today's video, we are going to be working with this added fullness technique. I'm not going to be making a finished dress, so I'm not going to be showing you how to make the hem, facings, or zipper, but I'm only going to be focusing on the actual pattern making, and then I will sew a sample of it. I will be using my basic pattern blocks with the darts, and I hope you like it. I'm going to start by tracing the back basic bodice. Then I'm going to fold the paper in half and trace my front basic bodice on the fold. I'm going to do a shoulder adjustment. I do this by joining front and back shoulder, tape it together, and I measure 2 centimeters towards my front shoulder. I draw a line and cut on that line. Those 2 centimeters are now part of my back. Back to my front sloper, I'm going to cut at the waistline. Because this will be a sleeveless dress, I'm going to eliminate the armhole ease by adding a 2 centimeter dart. From the curve of the armhole, which is about halfway through the armhole, I'm going to draw a line to the bust point, measure 2 centimeters, and draw my second line to the bust point, creating my dart. Now I'm going to go ahead and transfer my waist dart to the shoulder. I draw a line from the midpoint shoulder to the bust point. I open the paper since it is on the fold. Now I close my waist dart. Now I cut on the shoulder line I just drew, and my dart is now on the shoulder. I'm going to close my armhole dart. I redraw this line. Since I made some alterations to the pattern, I'm a bit short on the waistline, so I'll just tape a piece of paper. Now I'm going to tape a piece of paper on the dart so I can close it. I like to use the corner of a book to close my darts. Now I can cut. I'm going to trace my dart on the other side. Now I need to take another measurement. I'm going to measure from the apex down. On my dress form, that's 8 centimeters. I'm going to add 1.5 centimeter ease. So, back on the paper, from the apex down, I measure 9.5 centimeters. Here on the armhole, I will mark 4 centimeters in. On the other side, I mark 4 centimeters from the waist up. Now I'm going to draw a curved line going through these 3 points. I'm going to draw some notches and cut. I close my shoulder darts on both sides. Now I can work on adding the fullness. I'm going to make a total of 6 cuts, and here I'm just figuring out where I want to place my first cuts. I'm just drawing my lines. There's no wrong way to do this. We can leave as much or as little space as we want to, and the lines can go in any direction. Now I'm going to cut on the lines that I just drew, stopping just before they are separated from the pattern. I'm going to treat these as darts. I'm going to open and add the fullness that I want. I ended up giving the first line 3.5 centimeters of added fullness and about 6 to 6.5 centimeters on the rest of the darts. Once I have finished, I'm going to close them so I can cut the excess paper. Continuing with the skirt will be symmetric, so we could work on just one side of the pattern and then cut on fold, but because I have the paper on the fold already, I'll just work on both sides. From the hip line down, I'm going to draw a straight line with the length of the dress. Then I'm going to draw a straight line from the midpoint of the dart all the way down. I'll trace it on the other side. Now I'm going to cut on that line and close my darts. This will add the volume on the skirt. The skirt is done. Now we can work on the back. I'm going to mark 1 centimeter in on my waistline. And I'm going to draw a line from this point to the neckline, and then from that waistline point to the hip. This is going to create a long, narrow dart. This dart will prevent gapping. Now I cut on the waistline. I'm going to make a 2 centimeter dart to remove the armhole ease like I did in the front. I close my armhole dart and transfer it to the waistline. I redraw this line. I draw a nice little curve to create a princess seam, and I cut. For the skirt, I draw a straight line from the hip down with the same length as the front. I draw a straight line from the midpoint of my dart. I cut on that line and close my dart. This will add the volume on the skirt. And now I have all my pattern pieces. For the front, I have my asymmetric top with the added volume. I have the bottom part of that asymmetric top. and the skirt. For my back pieces, I have my princess seam blouse, side and center back, and the skirt. Now we can cut our sample. I'm going to close the dart and place the asymmetric top on the right side of the fabric on the grain. Once I have it pinned on grain, I can open the blouse and add the seam allowance before I cut. It's important to mark the dart with added volume to be able to close them. I'm using a pen which disappears with heat. I'm only adding seam allowance on one of the armholes, the one that's going to have the seam to hold the added volume together. I didn't bother to add seam allowance on the other armhole because I'm not going to finish the dress. I cut the bottom asymmetric top, the front skirt, the side back and center back blouse and back skirt, I'm going to close my dart following my guidelines and sew to hold it together. Now I'm going to place my top blouse with the bottom blouse right side to right side. I'll sew and make some cuts along the curve so it lays flat. Now I'll sew my back side to center back. I repeat it for the other side. Now I'll place my front blouse with my two back pieces and sew on the shoulder and side seams. Now I'll take my front skirt with my two back skirts right side to right side and sew. I'll place my blouse with my skirt right side to right side and sew. And here we have our sample dress with the added volume.